Last February marked Girls und Panzer's second foray into video games with Dream Tank Match, and the expanded DX version on PS4 and Switch arrived almost exactly 1 year later. With the Switch's delayed release comes many compromises and oddities alike, which made looking at this interesting. Dream Tank Match on PS4 and PS4 Pro operates at 1080p without anti-aliasing. On Nintendo Switch, Dream Tank Match is only 1080p on the menu and while in the tank garage. Otherwise, it's 720p without anti-aliasing on both docked and handheld mode. In fact, you'll come to find that docked and handheld mode are identical in graphical fidelity, which is understandable given that multiplayer is a big component of the game. And, as also in touch on, handheld mode's GPU clock disadvantage compared to dock mode is not too big of a deal for performance. Likewise, PS4 and PS4 Pro are like for like in graphics, with PS4 Pro support only enforcing a 60 FPS cap instead of 30 FPS cap on the PS4. However, placing the Switch and PS4 versions side by side, there are many cutbacks in practically every possible facet to improve performance. In combination with the removal of surface shaders, the draw distance and resolution on dynamic shadows is greatly reduced. Adding to the fact that ambient occlusion is also omitted from the Switch version, Dream Tank Match has a heavily cut back lighting model on Switch. This may even point to the Switch version using a different engine entirely, since, unlike the PS4 version, the Switch version does not have a Unity Splash logo. Environments also take a toll. Foliage is reduced, but the grass draw distance is identical between both versions. An interesting difference to note about the maps is that prop physics on the Switch are retained on all but 2 maps. Order Ice Streets has collision removed from props, but Fields removes the interactive fences and stone walls. The tanks' levels of detail are also cut back as well. The distance at the lowest level of detail for tanks is swapped in is about 1/3 of that on PS4. The final difference seen here is the effort made to save on file size and performance with compression and reduced texture quality. The Switch version is about 6.6 GB, while the PS4 version comes in at 9 GB. Paired with the reduction of texture quality across the board, character portraits that appear when tank commanders use their Panzer IV or Panzer High are also compressed. Altogether, it's often enough that you'll easily be able to tell from a glance which version you're looking at. Now, a look at performance of all the configurations. Dream Tank Match taxes the CPU pretty heavily, so the PS4 Pro often leads the PS4 version by 30%, in line with its clock speed boost over the base system. And as such, Switch in portable and docked mode see identical performance a lot of the time. Using the Black Forest Peak mission as an example, docked and portable mode stay in the low 20s when not in scope mode, dipping into the high teens. I tested this mission again using Freebird to boost the CPU to 1785 MHz, and the average frame rate of the scene went from 23.4 FPS to 28.9 FPS. The tool is not completely stable for all custom firmwares, but it helped here to paint a picture of the boost you can see when it's stabilized. The CPU, being the limiting factor, plays into the average frame rate when analyzing almost 15 minutes of in-game footage on each platform. In order, PS4 Pro averages out at 33.5 FPS, Switch in docked mode at 25.1 FPS, PS4 at 24.3 FPS, and portable mode at 23.9 FPS. 5-on-5 matches on PS4 and both the Switch's configurations stick in the mid to low 20s, and the Pro sticks in the high 20s to low 30s, with the frame rate heading closer to its target as numbers dwindle in annihilation mode with bots. Switch in docked mode stayed over 30 FPS a little more than 1/4 of the time with a low of 16 FPS, while handheld mode is about 14% with a low of 12 FPS. I say over 30 FPS because the Switch version bounces to 31 or 32 FPS when it recovers from failing to hit its cap. The PS4 and Pro versions don't have this issue, with PS4 holding 30 FPS 25% of the time, hitting as low as 18 FPS, and PS4 Pro staying over 30 FPS 66% of the time with a low of 18 FPS. You shouldn't expect the PS4 Pro to break over 50 FPS when there are more than 4 tanks, and the test drive doesn't stay locked at 60 FPS either. Altogether, the performance on all versions is disappointing, but the Switch version, while having many sacrifices, can be somewhat remedied by the CPU boost to have a higher frame rate than PS4. I will be on the lookout for upcoming patches to see if performance is improved on any system. But until then, thanks for watching or listening, and have a good one.